Hey guys, this is going to be a record review of Genesis Selling England by the Pound, the 45 RPM Analog Productions Bernie Grundman mastered reissue. So, funny thing with this album is I've basically listened to it mostly on vinyl all my life, other than the CD version that came out in 1995, where they totally cut the Moog Taurus pedal bass, or the bass pedals, at the 6 minute 40 mark of Firth the Fifth. The problem was back then, and I noticed that tonight even, was the LP version back then that I had was a Columbia House pressing. That was the LP that I bought to fulfill the commitment. Remember, where that was a totally muddy sounding LP, but when it came to the bass pedal section, it was awesome. It filled the room with bass and all that stuff, even with my little shitty Pioneer receiver and my homebrew Radio Shack speakers and all that good stuff. And so, yeah, that was my first impression of this album. Fast forward after the CD reissue that came out in '95, then I bought the Classic Records 200 gram version back in 2003, and regretfully I sold it 7 years ago. You guys heard that story, to Mike over at the In Groove, and I think that pressing goes for like $200 now if it's in very good condition. And so fast forward again now to 2023, and Analog Productions Atlantic 75th anniversary 45 RPM reissues. I had to get this, and for $60 it was worth every penny. I did a comparison between this and my DSD files that I have, the SACD that came out, I guess that would have been 2007, 2008, to commemorate the Genesis tour and the early years box set, and all that good stuff. So the multi-channel version of it I have only on DVD audio, or I guess it was DTS 9624. So I'm not even going to compare that. What I will say, this is the definitive version. It's very rare that I get an LP pressing that either equals the CD or SACD version. That's typically what I get, but cases like the Miles Davis 45 RPM Analog Productions, it blows away the 20 plus year old Sony SACD that I have of the same thing. Well, so there's one example. This is another. Just everything, the three-dimensionality of it. I don't know what voodoo magic sauce that Bernie Grundman poured all over the lacquers for this to get to the point. If you got the $60 and if you got a decent turntable rig, this is worth every penny. I mean, Firth the Fifth, when it came to the 6 minute 40 second mark, and I'll put the screenshot up in a second here. When the pedals kick in, that's right around 40 hertz, right? Now, the funny thing is, the way this thing was cut, with the subwoofers turned off, the Klipsch's barely sense it. Okay, now these things are supposed to go down to 34 hertz, right? I've noticed that before and after I did all the mods and everything else, I didn't screw up the frequency response of it, so the bottom end is still there. It's just a lot more tighter now. So if the material's there, these speakers will reproduce it. If the material's barely there, well, then you need the help of the subs. And as soon as I put on the 4 subs, front are in phase, backs are out of phase, boom, the 40 hertz notes came in, nice and smooth and detailed. And unlike the Muddy LP that I had from years ago, and well, the Classic Records one, I didn't have a very good reproduction chain, so I'll give it that. When those bass pedals would kick in, it would kind of muddy up everything else around it. Phil Collins's ride cymbal hits, all the other stuff going on between Tony Banks' keyboards and Steve Hackett's guitar work, Mike Rutherford's bass, obviously. That's, anyhow, again, I'll say it over and over and over again. It's worth the $60, right? I usually try not to pump stuff on this channel, but this is definitely worth it. Most of the record reviews you've seen on this and other stuff, I've got the original pressing, I got this pressing, on this channel, I really don't care. I've only had LP pressings of this to compare it to in my memory. And, like I said, if you got $60, fucking go for it. That's the end of this review. Enjoy, have a good rest of your week, like and subscribe, and cheers again, guys. Bye for now.